What's up with y'all boys and girls, man? Hey, it's Jay Briggs here continuing to cook up this NBA action, man. Off of a great opening night, we cashed our one and only official play yesterday with the Los Angeles Lakers straight up on the money line. Shout out to them boys. But here on the jam session yesterday, we had a really profitable day. We went 2-0 on the spread picks, 3-1 on the props. And the one prop that we did lose was the Mikal Bridges, and that one was frustrating. Brody had 0 points at half, 0. And then proceeded to stat pad in the second half, scored 16 to go just over his points prop, and then checked right out of the game. But I won't complain. Yesterday was a money-making Tuesday, a great day to start the season. Really couldn't have drew it up any better. Y'all know we do her on the jam session, man. This ain't nothing new. This is what we do. We kick the crap out of the books. We cook the shit out of the NBA every single day. We just try to continue to keep the momentum rolling forward and continue to turn a profit. I appreciate each and every one of you that continue to tune in and watch this video. Money Making Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. We got a huge 10-game card. Y'all know I'm finna cook it up for y'all. We're going to try to smash it per usual. I appreciate each and every one of you that continue to tune in and watch this video. All I ask is that you smash that like button for me. You subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as I always say, man, if you're rocking with me, rock with me. I'm active on Instagram and Twitter all day long. There's a link for both in the description below. And, of course, I have premium plays over at the site, man. We started the year off on the right foot. Let's keep the momentum rolling forward into today, Money Making Wednesday. Huge card, 10 games. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's cook it up. Let's continue to kick the crap out of the books. Let's make some money tonight. Let's hop right into tonight's NBA action. All right, ladies and gentlemen, first game of the day. We got the Indiana Pacers out on the road facing the Detroit Pistons. Pistons, 4.5-point home dogs here in this one. Pistons, they did improve over the offseason. They acquired guys like Tobias Harris. Also acquired Tim Hardaway Jr. from Dallas Mavericks. Kate Cunningham's healthy. They have a new head coach. Monty Williams no longer their head coach. I do think they'll be better this season. How much better is really the million-dollar question. This was still one of the worst teams in the league last season, one of the absolute worst. And they're going up against a team that was in the Eastern Conference Finals just a year ago. And this is a short line. We love betting the Pacers last year here on the jam session. And what did I tell you guys yesterday? What did I say in the intro? We're just trusting our spots, trusting our situations, trusting our eyes, and trusting who we know these teams to be. And right now, currently, there's nothing that talks me off of Indiana. Is it way public today? Yeah, it is. But the public wins too, and I think this is one they got right. We'll see if the Pistons stand up. I do think the Pistons will be a better and improved team as the season progresses. But game one, going up against a team that's head and shoulder the better basketball team, like through my eyes, this is still one of the best teams in the East against one of the worst teams in the East. So I'm not overcomplicating this one. I think the Pacers really attack these boys at the rim, play Pacer-style basketball, win this game comfortably. So first game of the day, give me Indiana. I'll lay it. Next game up, we're in Atlanta where the Atlanta Hawks are laying 6.5 on the Brooklyn Nets. Total sitting around 222.5. Not a game I'm totally in love with. We don't have to bet every game to start the season. Both of these two teams at the end of last season have found their way onto the do not bet list. Y'all already know fading the Hawks was one of our favorite things to do last season. But the Nets, the way they closed out last season, I want to fade them early this season as well. The Nets, to start the season last year, were a money-making machine. But to end it, man, they were one of the worst bets in all of the NBA. When I look at who these two teams are currently, I do think the Hawks are the better basketball team. I understand why the line is where it's at. I would lean, forced to pick, I would lean towards the Atlanta Hawks laying the points in this one. But it's not a game I'm rushing to bet. You know, Atlanta as sizable favorites is just not something I'm totally in love with personally. So just doing some line reading, looking at the matchups, looking at everything like that, Atlanta is the better basketball team. In my opinion, they should win the game comfortably. This should be an 8-9 point win for the Atlanta Hawks due to the talent that they have on their team. But knowing who the Hawks were last season, this might end up being a 4 or 5 point win. So lean towards the Hawks, but personally, I don't have any money on this game and probably won't have any money on this game as we get closer to 2. Let's keep it rolling. Next game up, we got an in-state rivalry going on here. We got the Orlando Magic out on the road facing the Miami Heat. Heat, 2.5 point home favorites in this thing. Everybody knows, man, here on the Jam Session, we love us some Orlando Magic. We love us some Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Shout out to Magic, man. We made a ton of money with the Magic last season. And I believe we will be able to make money with the Magic a lot this season as well, just not here in Game 1. I have to fade Orlando here in Game 1. Give me the Heat. I'll lay the points with them at home at the crib. I understand that the Heat's injury report right now at the time of recording this video is disgusting. It's ugly. Everybody, their mama, uncle, and auntie is on that injury report is listed as questionable. Somebody, me, like a seasoned veteran, somebody who looks at this shit every day, we know Miami always does this. And this is nothing new. Everybody's always questionable down there in Miami, and they usually end up playing. Home opener, start of the season, I'm expecting most of these guys to play personally. And the line indicates with them still being favorites at home that most of these guys will play. We'll see it if the news breaks our way as the day progresses, but I'm expecting them to play. For as good as the Magic are, for as great of an ATS team as they were, you know who was the thorn in their side? Their in-state rival, the Miami Heat. Miami always plays Orlando tough, and I think they do the exact same here. Miami was a team and is a team that's been in the Eastern Conference Finals more so than any other team in the East in recent memory. This is a really good basketball team, a really well-coached basketball team, and the way their season ended last season was concerning. I think they start this season off with a bang. I think they start this season off on the right foot. You know, we kind of seen Jimmy Butler come into training camp, not really on the antics that he's been on in the years past. I think the Heat will be more locked in. I wouldn't be surprised if we blinked later on in the season and they were right there in the end, battling somebody, you know, in the Eastern Conference Finals. I would not be shocked at all. And I think they start their season off on the right foot. We'll be able to bet the Magic this season. We still love the Magic here on the Jam Session, but we know who they struggle against, and it's always against the Miami Heat. I think the Heat win this game to start their season off on the right foot. I'll lay it. Next game up, we got the Philadelphia 76ers at home at the crib with the Milwaukee Bucks rolling into town. Milwaukee, road favorites to start their season. They're laying 3.5 here in this one. The reason they're road favorites in this game is because Philadelphia will be missing their two best players here, missing the former MVP Joel Embiid. He'll be out to start the season, and Paul George hyperextended his knee in preseason action, so he'll miss this game as well. We knew this news was coming. You know, they had Milwaukee still at plus money like 2-3 days ago, and we bet it pretty heavily a couple days ago. You know, if you were on the morning show here a couple days ago, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So currently, that's what I have in this basketball game. I'm sitting on a plus money Milwaukee ticket. I just need Milwaukee to win the basketball game. Forced to pick the game at what it is right now currently, I would still lean Milwaukee, but I'm going to be 1,000% honest with y'all. That hook on the bucket makes my nerves, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I do think the Bucks win this basketball game, though. I do think they win the basketball game, and I would lean towards them laying the 3.5. This team should be motivated to start their season off on the right foot the way their season ended a year ago. You know, there was a lot of hype for Milwaukee last season when they acquired one of the best guards of this generation in Damian Lillard, paired him up with one of, you know, the best players in the league right now currently in Giannis Antetokounmpo. It just didn't come to fruition the way they thought. They tried to get a new head coach, Doc Rivers, and the season just didn't end the way they thought it might. So I wouldn't be surprised a team like Milwaukee, a team with those style players and that style coach, came out here game one of the season and put belt to ass on a team that they're head and shoulders better than, especially when that team is missing their two best players. So lean towards Milwaukee in this basketball game. I don't have Milwaukee laying the 3.5. I have Milwaukee straight up on the money line at plus money. We caught it a couple days ago, so I'm just calling a spade, letting y'all know where I'm at, letting y'all know how I see it. So I would lean Milwaukee laying the 3.5. I don't currently have a bet on the 3.5. I have it plus money line, but I think if you lay the 3.5, you should still be fine. You should still be in a good place. Next game up. We're out of the country for this one, where the Toronto Raptors are taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cavs, 6.5 point road favorites in this one. Not a game I'm totally in love with. Cleveland, the book is still out for me on this basketball team. I have to put my eyes on them more. I need more data. I need to see who they're going to be under their new head coach. Remember, a season ago, I felt like Cleveland had chemistry issues. I really thought somebody was going to be gone, whether it was Donovan Mitchell, whether it was Darius Garland. I thought somebody from that core was going to be traded away, but they're all back. Like I just said a second ago, they have a new head coach. JB Bickerstaff is no longer there. He's in Detroit, I believe. Kenny Atkinson is now their head coach. And I just need to see more Cleveland before I lay this style number with them on the road. In my opinion, Cleveland is still a middle-of-the-pack Eastern Conference team. I understand they're going up against a bottom-tier Eastern Conference team in the Toronto Raptors, but I don't think the Raptors are nearly as bad as some people may portray them to be. No, the Raptors don't have that top-end talent like some of the other teams may have, but depth-wise, the Raptors may be one of the deepest teams in all of the NBA, and I wouldn't be surprised at all, especially home opener, if they came out, played tough, and got the cover. So I would lean towards Toronto getting the points in this one. They got the whole country behind them up there in Canada. I said that a lot last season, but it's the truth. It's the truth. They have a really nice home court advantage. They're a deep basketball team, and I think the public perception on them right now is off. I think there's a few points of value baked in right now because of that. I need to see who the Cleveland Cavs are as the season progresses. I don't feel comfortable laying this many points with them on the road. New system, new head coach. Give me the Raptors. First game of the season, plus the points at home at the crib. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep it rolling. We got the Houston Rockets at home at the crib with the Charlotte Hornets coming into town. Houston, sizable home favorites, laying 6.5 here in this one. I'm on the Hornets plus the points. Yes, the Rockets are the better basketball team. Hear me out, though. The Houston Rockets remind me of a team that's in their exact same city, just in a different sport, and that's the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans last season ended their season off on a good note, and coming into the season had a lot of expectations on them, kind of like the Houston Rockets do. And because of those expectations, we saw the Houston Texans overrated and overvalued ATS-wise to begin the season. The Texans were winning basketball games, but they were not covering the numbers early in the season. And I got that same eerie feeling about the Houston Rockets. They're the better basketball team. They should win a lot of these games early in the season, but I think they're overrated and overvalued when it comes to an ATS standpoint. They got some new pieces over there. They got a lot of cooks in the kitchen as well. I want to see how this team gels early in the season. The Charlotte Hornets return a lot of pieces from injury, guys like LaMelo Ball. They got Miles Bridges back from suspension. I like the addition of Josh Green, formerly formerly on my favorite team, the Dallas Mavericks. The Hornets got some pieces over there. And I think if they come out and hoop, I wouldn't be surprised if they kept this game super competitive a lot of the way throughout. Had a lead at certain points in the game and found a way to give us a cover when it's all said and done. Again, the Rockets are the better basketball team, but to start the season with expectations, I think they're a little overrated and a little overvalued. I want the points in my back pocket with an improved, healthy Charlotte Hornets team. Next game up, we got the New Orleans Pelicans at home at the crib with your Chicago Bulls. I ain't did that in so long. I had to do it. I had to. We got the Bulls coming into New Orleans, man. And in all honesty, I think they get ran out of New Orleans. I'm laying the points here with the Pelicans. I think the Pelicans are head and shoulders a better basketball team. I love the addition of DeJounte Murray to this team. That was the exact style guy this team needed. Another defender, another guy that can get his own bucket. Another guy that can kind of initiate things. That was really the main problem for New Orleans, in my opinion. CJ McCollum, he's good. He's not a point guard, though. He's more of a shooting guard. Now they got a point guard in there, DeJounte Murray, that can kind of initiate the offense. The Bulls, they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league. Short, sweet, simple. They are. They got some young guys over there. They may show up and hoop in certain spots. I don't think tonight's one of them. I don't. So, no real reason for me to overcomplicate this one. I think New Orleans starts their season off on the right foot. I think they're head and shoulders the better basketball team. Wouldn't be surprised if this was a really comfortable win, like a double-digit win. Maybe even look at laying an extended number here with New Orleans, trying to catch you some plus money, because I do think they probably take the Bulls behind the woodshed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep it rolling. Next game up, we got the Memphis Grizzlies out on the road facing the Utah Jazz. Jazz, 2.5-point home dogs here in this one. Memphis, they get their heart and soul back, man. They get their guy back, their franchise player, Ja Morant, man. Ja Morant, he's the engine that makes that car go, that makes that train go in Memphis. We saw how terrible they were a season ago without him. I mean, they also had a ton of other injuries in Memphis last year, but hey, Memphis was not a great basketball team last year, and now getting their guy back, I'm expecting them to kind of return to similar to what they had been in years prior. The problem is I think it's going to take some time for them to do exactly that. We love fading Memphis last year, especially on the road. And I think right now, unless until proven otherwise, we continue to fade them on the road. I think adding Ja Morant back into the fold right now, at least at the start of the season, has them overrated and overvalued. And they're still banged up. Jaren Jackson Jr. will miss this game tonight. When I look at this game through a vacuum, I think the things that Memphis does best, the Utah Jazz, it's a strength for the Utah Jazz. So it's just a bad matchup for Memphis to start their season. I don't like laying points with Memphis on the road. I love betting the Utah Jazz at home at the crib. The Jazz were extremely profitable last season at home at the crib. I'm on the Jazz in this one. I'm just trusting my spots, trusting our situations, trusting our eyes. And that puts us on the Jazz, man, at home at the crib. You can grab the points or you can attack the plus money. I think you'll be fine either way, but give me Utah at home at the crib. Keeping it rolling. We're in Los Angeles, where the Los Angeles Clippers are at home at the crib with the Phoenix Suns coming in. Suns, sizable road favorites in this one, laying 5.5. Of course, injury news. We know Kawhi Leonard out indefinitely for the Los Angeles Clippers. Does that shock anybody? No, not really. And if you're an OG here on the Jam Session, you already know the words that are finna come out my mouth. Fuck the Clippers, respectfully. That was our mantra last season. It was a really good one too. We cashed big fading the Clippers a lot last season. I ain't gonna lie. We're probably gonna retire it this season. One of the biggest reasons why I love fading the Clippers last season and why I became fuck the Clippers respectfully was because the hype for them started to just get far outweigh the actual play on the floor. Coming out of the All-Star break, the Clippers were odds-wise the second team to win the NBA Finals behind the Celtics. Like, I never saw them as that good of a basketball team. That's why it was fuck the Clippers respectfully. Now, with Kawhi Leonard out of the lineup, I kind of think they're underrated, undervalued. That's just my opinion. And first game at home at the crib, new stadium, new arena, I should say, in the Intuit Dome. We're going to see the wall really in action for the first time. I want the points in my back pocket with the Clippers. I do. I think James Harden can do enough for the tween, step back shit. I know Paul George is gone. He's now in Philadelphia. He ain't playing. He hyperextended his knee, but he's gone. I think James Harden and the rest of the guys can do enough to keep this game competitive. The Suns are the better basketball team. The Suns are much improved this season from a season ago. They really addressed the main problem they had from last season, which they didn't have a point guard on the roster. I like Devin Booker. I like Kevin Durant. I like Bradley Beal. Yes, they all are ball handlers, but they're not play initiators. They're not point guards. Teams need point guards. Just because you can bring the ball up the floor doesn't mean you can run and initiate an offense. And that was the problem for the Suns a season ago. All three of those guys, they're bucket getters. I say it all the time. There's a huge difference between a bucket getter and a play initiator. And now they have a couple of those on the roster here for the Suns, main one being Tyus Jones. Suns are the better basketball team, but I don't want to lay points with them, at least not right now on the road. They're going to have to show me that they're improved from a season ago. Clippers, right now, I just believe are a little underrated, a little undervalued. Getting 5.5 at home, at the crib is where I want to be, especially with it being the opening of their new stadium, their new arena. I think the fans would be rocking. I think the Clippers can do enough to keep this game semi-competitive. Give me the points in my back pocket here with LA in LA. Last and final game of the night. We got the Golden State Warriors out on the road facing the Portland Trailblazers. Portland, 5.5 point home dogs here in this one. In all honesty, I think the Portland Trailblazers are 30 of 30 in the NBA. I think they're the worst team in the league. The Warriors, who are they going to be post Splash Brothers era? The Splash Brothers are over. It's crazy when you really think about it. Klay Thompson is now on my favorite team, the Dallas Mavericks. We'll talk about them boys tomorrow. But who are the Golden State Warriors post Splash Brothers era? They tried to fake replace Klay with Buddy Hield. Kind of a nice replacement. I can't hate. But Buddy is not Klay. He's not. Good way to try to replace him, but he's not him. Good thing is they're playing, again, the worst team in the league, in my opinion, the Portland Trailblazers. I'm not laying the points with the Warriors tonight. I want to see this team. I need to see who they're going to be. I want to see how the pieces come together. I want to see the post-Splash Brothers era. But forced to pick the game, I definitely would lean towards Golden State. No way in hell I'm putting any hard-earned money that I have on Portland. I can't do it. Won't do it. At least not right now. I don't have a clear and concise reason to do so, so I'm not going to do so. So last and final game of the night, not overcomplicating it. I would lean towards Golden State, but right now, personally, I don't have any money on it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk some props. Yesterday, we went 3-1. We should have went 4-0. We should have went 4-0 until Mikal Bridges decided to go stat pad in the second half. But it happens. It happens, man. I got 4 for y'all right here, right now. 10 games on the cards, a lot to look at as the day progresses. Follow me on Twitter. I should tweet out some more props as the day goes on. But here's 4 that I like right here, right now at the time of recording this video. Trae Young, over 26.5 points. DeJounte Murray no longer in Atlanta. DeJounte Murray and Trae Young, both ball handlers. DeJounte Murray kind of took the ball out of Trae Young's hands in certain situations and spots last season. There's really nobody on this team that can do that to Trae this season. Trae Young, I think he's ultimate at trade bait for the Atlanta Hawks. He's basically auditioning for another team early in the season. Somebody's going to need an all-star level guard for a playoff push later on in the season, and the best person that fits that mold right now this year is Trae Young. I expect to see him put up big numbers early in the season. 30-10 game probably loading here for Trae Young. I would look at his points over. Damian Lillard, he's also missing his 2 guard. Chris Middleton will be out for this game. Damian Lillard, remember, this is a first-team all-pro level guard. That's who Damian Lillard is. That's who he was in Portland. And I know last season we kind of see him take a back seat to Giannis Antetokounmpo, but kind of like how we seen Tatum yesterday come out slighted and absolutely hoop. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Damian Lillard came out with that same fire in his eyes and had a big night. So, especially against a backcourt that doesn't have, defensive style guards, I'm expecting a big night tonight from Damian Lillard. I think he gets over his points total, especially with his starting 2 guard not being in the lineup tonight. Zach Edey, under 11.5 points. I like Zach Edey. I think he's going to be a really good piece for the Memphis Grizzlies this season. I think first game of his career, though, he couldn't have got a worse matchup. The Jazz are probably the team that match up best for him because they have a plethora of bigs that can throw his way all game long. Where Zach Edey's going to eat this season is when teams don't have that extra big when Zach Edey gets their other one in foul trouble, because he's going to be post-move, post-hook, all type of shit. But the Jazz have Kessler, Markkanen, John Collins. Like, they have a multitude of bigs that can throw at him to kind of limit him. First game of his career on the road. Tough environment like Utah. I think we see him struggle first game of his career. He'll be fine. We'll be able to bet his overs a lot this season, but I think first game of the season, under 11.5 for him is where I want to be. And last but not least, James Harden. Kind of the same thing with Trae Young and Damian Lillard. Both of his co-stars from a year ago, they're not playing tonight. Paul George is now in Philadelphia, and Kawhi Leonard, well, he's out indefinitely. So it's going to have to be on the shoulders of James Harden. He's going to have to carry the scoring load. We've seen James Harden in this style spot, in this situation plenty of times, and he usually comes out, hoops hard, and puts up a bunch of points. So that's pretty much what I'm expecting from him. It has to be on his shoulders. It has to run through him. James, I'm expecting you to hoop tonight. I'm taking him over his points prop. So just four props for me. I'll recap: Trae Young over, Damian Lillard over, Zach Edey under, and James Harden over. That's what I like tonight. And I should probably tweet out some more as the day goes on Twitter. So make sure you're following me over there. And that's going to conclude this episode of my NBA Jam session. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you that continue to tune in and watch this video. Really good day for us yesterday on opening night. We got 10 games on the card tonight, though. Hopefully, we can continue to cook it up and smash it per usual. Of course, I have premium plays for y'all over at the site. You guys can hop on over there. We had one play officially yesterday. We did smack that with the Los Angeles Lakers, and we're just trying to keep the momentum rolling forward. I appreciate each and every one of y'all more than y'all know. It's been your guy, Jay Briggs. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. I'm out of here. Peace.